Hey guys, it's Mike the Wrestling Godsmith, and you guys are watching On Wrestling. This video is actually on the Ceszaro, him leaving WWE AEW thing. And here's my thought about that too, because I wanted to go a little bit more in depth about it. I really think that he's gonna end up going to AEW, and I think that's the announcement that Tony Khan's gonna say on Wednesday that he signed him. Because I just feel like he's gonna go. Because here's the thing, I don't have nothing against Cesaro. I have nothing against his WWE career, but the problem with WWE at this point, he's never been on a thin ice with them ever since he showed up. And the problem is that they could have done so much more with him, and I just think that WWE had nothing left for him to do. Because he's been in tag teams. He's been the bar with him and Sheamus. And he's been double tag team champions. I guess you could say triple crown tag team champions. And I'm just like, he's been a tag team with Tyson Kidd. He's been a tag team with Cesaro. He's been a tag team with Jack Swagger, with the Real Americans. He's been a guy. He just never got to be the champion. He never got to be WWE champion. Never got to be Intercontinental. He's been Intercontinental before. But he's never been, I don't think he's ever been Universal Champ. I don't think he's ever been, SmackDown Universal Champion, Raw Universal Champion at all. Because, here's my thing. Is that, sorry guys. Here's my thing, guys. Is that I believe Antonio Cesaro, he isn't a bad dude. And the thing is, as soon as they got him in NXT, they should have just put him as a singles guy because I think he had so much to give and he had so much to learn, but he had so much to show us. And it's his feat of strength is crazy. It still is, man. I just, because you know what, I like Cesaro. He's a nice guy. I'm glad that he's in the Dead 2K22 game because he is in the game. They didn't just take him out of it. And this is the thing too, is that everybody doesn't understand that the WWE isn't a bad company. They just don't know how to do their Impact players right. And Cesaro has always been an Impact kind of player because, he's always been that guy. He's never been a comedy relief type of guy. He's been an Impact player type of guy. And I think him just being the Impact player that he was, he's going to make a good idea in AEW because they're gonna find something for him to do. Either he's going to train Daniel Garcia or something. They're probably going to make him... He's probably going to be a force to be reckoned with in AEW. I don't know what his new name would be. Probably just Ceszaro or something like that. But they would do something with that. And the problem is that you got, and this is the thing I was trying to think about with the firing thing. Vince doesn't know what to do with all these guys because that's the problem. They have all this money and they're $1 billion company, but they don't have the money that AEW has. It's sad because I've seen guys the same thing with the WWE with Brian Kendrick, the dude who could have could have done so much more when he came back. Now when he first appeared, they didn't know what to do with him, and then when he left, came back from AEW on TNA, and then he came back and he was like, you know what? Let's see what we can do with him. Let's see if we can bring Brian Kendrick back. And that's the thing. They should have done so much with him. And they didn't. They didn't do anything with him. And I'm just, I'm mad they had a perfect opportunity to do that. It's the same thing with Daniel Bryan, is that they didn't make him a main event dude till 2014, 2015. They didn't make a main event till the Wyatt family were main event people. And that's the problem. The WWE tries to make this the face of the franchise, but it's never that face of the franchise. Same thing with Roman Reigns. It's that they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do with a guy, and this is the sad part because and this is what I was saying before, that Roman's not the guy. Even if they do give him the Rock the next year or whatever they just decide to do, he's never gonna be that dude. So if he beats Brock, he beat Brock. I'm everybody's beating Brock. Even John Cena's beating him. Seth is beating him. Trips is beating him. And that's the sad part. They're just throwing Brock Lesnar around because literally he's jobber bait. He doesn't do anything now. The dude's been a double, like, he's been a double champion. He had the WWE champion and the Universal champion on both separate occasions. And the sad part is, even if they do a title unification or whatever they decide to do at WrestleMania, and this is what I'm saying with Cesaro, like, they could have put him in that match or put him against Roman. They didn't even want to do that. They put him against Seth, and that was a great way to go. Like, maybe he could have been the guy to get Roman, because I'm like, you know what? Maybe he probably would have put up more of a fight. He probably would have gave him a run, because he probably would have because the thing about Roman is that he can do everything. Cesaro can do it, and that's the problem. And this is the thing I was saying with the Impact thing, is that he's never going to be an Impact player in WWE. Same thing with Punk. They're not going to make these guys who are really good in the ring Impact players. And I just don't really see the point of having a guy like that, or Vince trying to come up with something for him, because there's nothing for him to do. Every talent that comes into WWE, that they come back from a different company, isn't ready for the juncture of WWE, because WWE wants to go by a gimmick or whatever. He's supposed to be a powerhouse. He's supposed to be this. He's supposed to be charismatic. He's not supposed to be charismatic. Like, they don't know what they want. They don't know talent. They don't know a superstar. They want to create their own superstar. And that's something that I realized with Kevin Owens. The same thing I realized with Sami Zayn, which he's doing phenomenal work. But the problem is, if Sami Zayn got fired, if he left, or whatever they decided to do, same thing they did with Drake Maverick, same thing they did with Killian Dane, the same thing they did with Eric Young, like, all the dudes they took from every other company, he probably would have been the one guy. And Eric Young should have just been Insanity, and they should have just did Sanity and just went with it, because it would have been an idea, but they messed up with it anyway. They don't know what to do, and I'm sorry. Like, everybody in Wrestling Observer has been talking about the Cody thing because he left AEW. Yeah, he left AEW, but the only reason Cody left was because he couldn't do anything in AEW, and I think it's because everybody wanted him to be heel. Like, and that's the problem. You can't be a face in a company all this time. That's why AEW balances itself out, because they actually know if a face turn isn't good, a heel turn is better, because everybody loves John Moxley because he's a heel. The dude's a straight up heel, just like they love Bryan Danielson. He's a straight up heel. The thing is that if they bring Cesaro's that guy, he can be a heel and a face. He can be a crowd pleaser. That's what they did with Miro. He was a crowd pleaser because he was a heel, but he was a face and he was a heel. Then they did whatever they needed to do with him. And the problem is, same thing what they did with Rusev. The problem was they didn't know how to book him. They gave him probably the lengthiest title run they could give him, which was the United States title at the time, and didn't do nothing with him. And then thought, maybe let's just put him against John Cena, have him lose, and that's the point. They don't know. And as soon as AJ Styles decides to get up and leave, because he'll get up and leave, this is what I mean, guys. Cesaro leaving is going to open up so many avenues for him to go that it's not even funny. The dude could literally go to New Japan, be a star over there, go to Impact if he wants to go to Impact, go to AEW if he wants to go, even NWA, which you're going to want him to go. That's what's going to end up happening, because you're going to want him to go. People think because the way he is, he's just like, oh, he's a WWE guy, he's not going to have any success. Look at Drew McIntyre. Look at all the former WWE superstars that are still wrestling today, are in other companies doing the same thing they could have done at the WWE if Vince or anybody or creative would have booked them perfectly right. And this is what I got to say that there's Cesaro being fired. They could have done anything on the planet. Anything on the planet for him. They could have made him a star. They could have made him a super guy. They could have done every little bit of time they had for him, because the thing is, he would have made something of his life. He would have done something. This is what I mean, guys. Like, I'm not making this a rant video, because my point is that Cesaro's not a bad guy. I really believe he's going to go to AEW and be a main event guy like Sammy Guevara, and probably go against him and Jeff, because I really believe Jeff is going to come up there and elevate him too, because that's what it is. AEW doesn't just take the talents and elevate them, they let them be people, and that's the problem with Cesaro. He never got to be a person. The guy works 350 days a year. 3 out of the 360 days he has to work, depending on if they want him for WrestleMania. They didn't put him in the damn Royal Rumble. And that's real dumb. And I blame Vince. I blame Triple H. I blame that whole company, because that company is literally losing people because they don't know who to get. And the only people that are probably going to be in WWE at the time if AEW keeps doing what they're doing and not running out of money is that Randy Orton's going to be the last guy they get rid of. Triple H can't even come in and do what he does for NXT, because NXT is a laughing stock, because they're trying to make new superstars out of the people they have. And it can't be done. And the problem is, they got all these signees and all these training guys and all these guys that are doing these breakout tournaments that are so good in the ring, but they're going to be a laughing stock, because NXT is going to make them feel like a bunch of chumps. Same thing with Carmelo Hayes. The guy's got a lot of promise, a lot of charisma, just like Shawn Michaels. But the problem is, he's gonna get arrogant. The problem is, as soon as they get him on main roster, what's gonna happen? Oh, we're gonna try to put you against the biggest guy we can put you against, which would probably be Seth Rollins, or probably be Roman if they decide to even go against guys from NXT, because it's never gonna happen. Or Ricochet or AJ, because that's what Ricochet is gonna end up being. They don't do anything. Look at Cassius Ohno. Look at a guy they took from the Indies as Chris Hero, but they called him Cassius Ohno. Could have done something with him, but didn't. He left NXT to go to NXT UK. Thought he could do it on the mainstay of NXT UK with the British Strong Style Wrestling, but couldn't do it. Don't sound right. That doesn't sound right, but that's some dumb shit. But anyway, guys, like I said, this is what I mean. It's like, why is every time somebody leaves the WWE, it boggles me. It boggles my mind on this, because I'm sitting here thinking about it. The guy that they bought, the guy that they put so much time and effort in, which is Cesaro, out of everyone, because they literally brought him from NXT, put him in with Dolph Ziggler and Zeb Coulter, which is Dutch Mantella now, and I'm just like, bro, they could have done anything. If they could have done anything on the planet, anything, it would have made sense. They could make money. They could bring a guy in. They could do, but they don't want to do that. And Cesaro's going to go to AEW and become such a star and become TNT champion that it won't even matter. They'll pay him a bunch of money, because Tony Khan will pay a bunch of money for him. They'll buy him. They'll acquire him, just like they'll do Jeff Hardy, because everybody wants Jeff Hardy. Everybody wants Cesaro. Everybody wants the Forbidden Door to keep opening, because everybody from Impact is going to go. Everybody from New Japan are going to show up. That's why we got Ishii and the rest of them. And we got Jay White, because there's a whole other thing that Vince doesn't get. Tony Khan's he's not even a businessman. This dude's running the business like it's a gun. And he doesn't run out. He keeps going with these big announcements and saying, you know what? AEW's not just a company, it's a family, but we're going to let you do what you want to do. And they could do it all over the world, and they don't mind it. They could do it all over the States. They won't mind it. They were doing house shows at Daly's place for them when the pandemic hit, and people still loved it. Revolution is going to be their biggest pay-per-view in the spring. You know why? Because we're going to get that Double or Nothing feeling. We're going to get that same Casino Battle Royale junk, and we're going to love it because Keith Lee's the guy that they bought. And Keith Lee's going to be a big impact, because he's going to be the impact that that he's gonna have to go through Adam Cole. He's gonna have to go through Hangman. He's gonna have to go to Kenny, and I really and truly believe it's gonna be a good match. This is what I'm saying. Ceszaro is coming to AEW because there's two reasons in this world that he's gonna come: the money and the way he can be a main event guy. Same thing when they got ECW dudes to go there, because when the ECW was big and WWF was still kind of little, they brought some ECW guys like the Dudley Boys, did everything they could do him. Just Incredible, I didn't really see that much, because Just Incredible, I feel bad for him, but he kind of failed at it. I know about Just Incredible probably more than the ECW people do. And the sad part about ECW, they knew what they were doing too. And I'm hoping Tony Khan gets the brains to even think about getting Rob Van Dam, because that dude's practically a legend and he can still go. So I'm thinking, please get RVD. Please get him, because that would be sick. I want to see RVD in a ring again. Not as a Hall of Famer. Not in an indie company. Just put him in AEW, if you can, Tony Khan. And give him everything. Don't even give him a lot of money. Let that dude be the Mr. Let him be Mr. Monday Night. Let him be Mr. Pay-Per-View. Let him be the guy we know, the master of the 5-star frog splash. Let him go. Same thing with Ceszaro. Let that dude be the Swiss Superman that we know and love. But anyway, guys, like, comment, subscribe. Peace.